everybody, welcome to my next installment of Acoustic Blues Guitar. I'm not sure which number this is. I'm thinking number 5, maybe, number 6. But anyway, most of them are posted here on my YouTube channel. And also there's a link in the description box below where you can access even more of these, okay, over at Vimeo. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm in the key of G for this one, and as always, I'm incorporating previous ideas but expanding on them a little bit and also offering up some new things as well. And for this one, what I'm really focusing on is going back and forth between the chords and some tasty little licks, and even putting some stuff right inside the chords. That's always fun to do, okay? So what I'll do is I'll just play it for you first at tempo, okay? It's not too quick, and then we'll break it down phrase by phrase, lick by lick, okay? Here we go. A 12-bar blues in the key of G. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Right out the gate, we have that opening lead-in lick. Okay, so you can see the tab up on the screen, and of course you have the visual, but let me play that for you nice and slow. Okay, and then we are into the first phrase. Okay, I consider that one phrase. We're moving from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. Now what's happening here is I'm holding down a G7 bar chord, okay? And while you're holding that chord down, you want to get as many notes ringing out as possible, right? So while you're holding that chord down, you're playing this lick with inside the chord. And as I say, it's all right inside the chord. Very cool. All right, and then we want to move to the 5 chord, which is in this case going to be a C9. And all we're doing with that chord is arpeggiating it. Down, 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 followed by up, 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 which you can see on the tab, of course, but. So now we have. Now, off of that C9 chord, we're going to play some double stop action, okay? Now you may want to flip up your fingers or mix up your fingers a little bit to grab that using your 2 middle fingers. But I just play it right off of the chord. As you can see, I just pop my pinky down here. So that's an option, okay? That's just simply the way I like to play it. So we're sliding again from 3 to 5 on the G string, catching the first E string on the 5th fret, and then in reverse. Like that, okay? So we have. Okay. Now the next phrase brings us back to the 1 chord, the G chord, and we're playing a boogie pattern in a slightly different way, a very acoustic-y blues way, I like to think of it. But instead of going, you know, the old school way, I'm just doing it like this. You get a few more more strings in there, you know, you get the B string in there and you're kind of getting that G note ringing through. So this is how I'm playing it. I'm using my second finger on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and then place your first finger in the 2nd fret on the D string, but you want to play the D, the G, and the B strings. So you get this. Then open it up. Then use your 3rd finger to land the 3rd fret on the D string and do the same thing. And back. So we have kind of a fun and cool way to play the old school boogie pattern with a different fingering, okay? So we're going to do a walk up now back to the 4 chord, the C9 chord. So I played this. And that walks us into the C9 chord. So where you jump off is really important, right? So let me do that slowly. As you can see, we walked right into that C9 chord again for the next phrase. I arpeggiated the chord the exact same way, but 2 times in a row. And a string of kind of low-end double stops, okay? I slid into it, but the double stops are, as you can see on the tab. And I think down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down is probably the best picking pattern for that. So off of that C9 we have. Okay. And then we find our way back to the 1 chord, of course, and we're doing kind of a black country woman type thing here. Going to take us into the 5 chord, the D7. So again, playing that one nice and slow. You want to kind of keep your ring finger on that G note, the 3rd fret on the 6th string, as much as you can, so that it rounds out the notes and makes them sound like they're all a chord, so to speak. So you can see that on the tab, but let me play it slow as well. And then that takes us to the 5 chord, as I mentioned, the D7. And we are using the same strings and the same arpeggiation and picking that we used on the C9 chord. But then we're going to invert it slightly where the 3rd, the major 3rd, becomes the root note. So how you want to do this is keep your first 2 fingers where they are, but pull your 3rd finger down to the 5th fret on the G string, and then your pinky down to the 5th fret on the 1st E string. So we have, and then we arpeggiate those first 4 strings. But the same thing, right? 3 down, 3 up. So we have, and then we do the same thing at C7. So backing up a little bit, what we have is this. And then we have the turnaround. Okay. Now for the turnaround, what I'm doing is the same idea. I'm using my ring finger to fret that 3rd fret on the 6th string, and I want to hold that down so that that note rings through the rest of it, right? And so I use this fingering right here. You can see which strings I'm picking on the tab. And I'm using a down, down, up pattern, by the way. Pinky comes down on the 3rd fret on the D string, so we want to pick the D, the G, and the B strings now. Then 2nd fret with the 2nd finger on the D string. 1st fret with the 1st finger, and then finally open. So slowly we have. And there you can see the chords on the screen. We have a E flat 9, or D sharp 9 if you want to call it that, to a D7 sharp 9. And then what you can do, you can just start the whole thing over at that point, right? You can go like this. And just go through it again, okay? But on the video, what I did was I ended it with a G7 over here, Stone style. Just like so, okay? So what I think I'll do right now is I'll play the whole thing really slowly for you, okay? You've got it up to tempo at the beginning of the video if you want to reference that, but let me just play the whole thing for you very slowly. So there you go with yet another installment of Acoustic Blues Guitar. I hope you enjoyed it, and as I mentioned, there's access to other acoustic blues lessons in the description box below, as well as my blues rock guitar course, okay? So you can check that out if you're into it, and I shall see you guys in the next video.